Hello, for folks who are just joining us. We are going to start the Uptiq live demo session in just one moment as a few more folks trickle in. Awesome. It looks like we have a few folks joining us today as more folks come on board. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Uptiq's latest live demo session. I'm Craig McKeon from the Uptiq team, and I'm joined today by Lauren Brown, our Senior Solutions Engineer. So let's dive right in. I'm going to set the context up front. The rest of our time is inside the live agent, showing you the intake agent doing real work on a commercial deal. The intake agent handles the front end of lending or credit file review. Today's example showcases commercial, but it's applicable across lending types, as well as credit review requirements. Everything from the moment an applicant first shows up to the moment underwriting receives a complete verified deal record. That's what you're going to watch happen today. Drop any questions in the Q&A as we go. I'll take the quick ones live and hold the deeper questions for the end. So let's start with why this part of the process deserves its own agent. If you run commercial lending, intake sets the ceiling for everything downstream. You can't underwrite faster than you can assemble a complete file, and assembling that file can be slow. Typical intake to decision cycle runs anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, and most of that time isn't with credit judgment. It's the paper chase, collecting documents, checking them against a list, discovering something's missing, which leads to our second problem. Round after round of follow-up with borrowers or applicants. Every missing bank statement is another call, another email, another few days of the deal sitting still. You feel that with the relationships you're building too. The ones with options go with where the process is faster. So this is one that costs the most as well. On average, roughly 1 in 5 business applications that reach underwriting shouldn't be there. They're unqualified, but nobody's screened them out yet. So your most expensive people spend time proving a deal was dead on arrival. So the bottleneck really isn't your credit team, it's everything that happens before anything reaches your credit team. So here's what the intake agent solves. It replaces the entire front-end paper chase, one agent orchestrating a number of jobs. First, guided application intake, whether it be for C&I or CRE loans or overall credit intake. It shows the right fields for the right product, enforces required answers, and blocks incomplete submissions. So incomplete files just simply don't enter your pipeline until they're ready to go. Then document AI. Files come in from PDFs to portals, whatever the borrower is engaged with, the agent classifies them and extracts the data, and every extracted field traces back to its source document for full data lineage. Your auditors will really care about that, and we'll show that live as well. Then we have KYC and KYB pre-screening, third-party partners on the identity side as well as the business side. Ownership structures and watch lists get checked before a human touches the file, so only eligible applications advance. There's also a self-service portal. Your team shares a secure link, the borrower completes the same guided flow on their own time, signs electronically, and the submission lands directly in the pipeline. One thing to hold on to here as well is this sits over your existing core LOS and CRM. Nothing to migrate, no rip and replace required to adopt an agent. So here's what that looks like as a workflow. First touch to submitted application, registration, business details, the financing request, owners and guarantors, collateral, document upload and classification, and submission. When steps are complete, a deal record exists and it's clean out of the gate. So you don't have to memorize these boxes, just remember two things really up front. One, this is not one form with fields toggled on and off. Loan types run their own workflow because those deals turn on different facts. A CRE deal turns on the property, so CRE swaps in property information step where a term loan might dive deeper into the owners. So see that difference in the agent as well. And then two, your team really stays in control. There's a few checkpoints that are deliberately human, like selecting the loan product or reviewing AI's document labels before anything downstream depends on them. And this really drives follow-up on incomplete drafts so that an agent is really doing the work and your people are making those calls. So with that shape in your mind, here's what we're about to do. So we'll see a new application from scratch. You'll watch the guided intake for a commercial deal, 5 fields to open the file, validated as the borrower types. It doesn't take very long, and you'll see why errors get caught at the field instead of surfacing a few weeks later in underwriting. With documents in, we'll feed the agent a number of document types from tax returns, file statements, and bank statements, and we can watch them get classified and extracted. We'll see the lineage back to the source page, then pre-screening, KYC and KYB run automatically. This is where the unqualified one in five applications come to a stop before it costs your underwriter any time. And finally, the handoff. The finished package advances to underwriting, parties identified, sources and uses populated, document checklist closed, and an audit trail logged from first touch. So a deal that's ready to spread, not one that needs 3 or more rounds with the borrower. So if you lose track of where we are during the demo, it's really in one of those buckets. So one more slide to go, and then I'll pass it over to Lauren to jump right in. So here's what institutions actually get. These are aggregated results. You see deal cycle time go from weeks to days before the manual paper chase is gone. Application throughput really can go and triple without adding any front office headcount. And those 1 in 5 of those bad deals are screened out before anyone sees them. So this is not a year-long transformation either. You can be up and running very quickly. We have more than 150 institutions that trust Uptiq today. So, all right, with that set up, here we go. We'll pass it over to Lauren and we'll see what this agent looks like live.
Perfect. Thanks, Craig. Well, that was a great initial overview of what we're about to see. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and just dive right in and really see this agent in action. So as we begin, we are going to take the approach from a banker-led application. So here within the agent, as we start to initiate with the agent, I'll select new application. Here's where I can either select to fill it out manually or even upload the application. So for today, we will upload the application here. And then you'll see where we'll present you with which product that we are going to apply for. So today we're going to take a loan application that we've received from a commercial client and show you how easy it is to simply upload that application directly within the agent. So as I upload that application, we will select start the extraction. So from here, it's going to take that actual document and several things are going to start to react. So not only are we going to take the application, extract the information, read the document fully, and pull the information out and actually fill out the application on the banker's behalf, but we're also going to take it to the next level. We're going to verify and validate business information. So we need to call out to additional sources, Secretary of State, et cetera, be able to go ahead and validate and verify. And then most importantly, as we're extracting that specific information, we can start to guide the process of the application itself. So who does it need to go to? What type of application is this? What type of business is this? And that's going to lead what's going to happen next. So who, what, when, and where does the application go from here? Now, as we initiate the application here, we will have the ability to have a more hands-on approach, which is what you're seeing from the get-go here. And we have the ability to say, hey, here's what we extracted from the document. Here's what we were unable to find in the document. So again, that human intervention. So all of the fields of information are based on your policies, procedures, and requirements. But let's say within that specific realm, there was some information that we were unable to gather. I could actually come in and be able to key that information in. So still having some guidance. And then once we can move forward, we can go ahead and select continue, which will push me forward to additional business details. Now, again, the asterisks, the required information are all going to align with your business requirements. So think of your financial institution's policies, procedures, workflow requirements based solely around the extracted information, right? So the business type, what kind of business this is, et cetera. Now, in addition, if I needed to capture any additional information, if I had additional documents per se, this was an example with a loan application. But let's say I had some collateral information, I had a few years of tax returns, maybe I had some personal financial information. I could easily come, drag and drop those documents right here, and it would extract that information, additionally pre-fill in those required fields and or have those documents ready and already check that box for me moving forward when we hand this over to our underwriter. So as you can see, really streamlining the process here, making it very, very simple to interact with any and new information, be able to still have that human contact, human intervention when needed, but go ahead and actually pre-fill and allow you guys to have the time that you need with your customers and have those crucial conversations moving forward. Now, once this is complete, we will have the ability to essentially move it forward and provide that handoff to that additional time and place. So, where we go from here, and then we'll always have guidance on that application process. So, where it is, what's needed, where it's going to go from here, and be able to clearly and precisely understand the process of the entire application from start to finish. So as this progresses, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this back over to Craig, and that is our application intake agent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. If you have any
Absolutely.
questions, please feel free to drop those in the Q&A. We do have a couple in here just to get us started. Lauren, what happens when a borrower starts an application and it might be abandoned? Where does it go? How do they follow up with it?
Yeah. So if they, seem to abandon the application, let's say they uploaded, we're extracting the information, nothing's going to get lost. The partial submissions are going to save automatically to the intake drafts. The drafts are going to, persist across the sessions, across your browsers. So they're not going to have to stop and start over. So really providing that perfect client experience that everyone's looking for today.
Awesome. And another question, this one's more around customization. How much of the intake process can be customized for an institution's credit policy?
Yeah, absolutely. So the workflow is completely configurable. It's going to be, configurable down to even the specific product level, product type. So think of all the fields of information that are required, what additional information is needed, what documents are required, even down to, step-by-step sequence, right? Because that's important as well. We have the ability to configure that.
Excellent. And it looks like this next question is around more on the document AI side. This one asks, we tried intelligent document processing before. It really didn't stick for us. Why is this different?
Yeah.
I think,
So,
go ahead.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this is fair, and we hear this sometimes too. Most IDP projects will kind of fail or stall out for, a couple different reasons. I think one is extraction without context and no workflow around the output. So the intake agent specifically is different on both of those things. It's domain trained bank grade for financial documents specifically, so it's really not generic OCR. And for Uptiq, Document AI also supports, both OAT API and it's MCP enabled. So it's ready for AI deployment right away. There's no additional processing for it to be handled in a different way for an MCP to be able to grab it for AI. Awesome. Let me see if there's any other questions in here. It looks like that's all of the questions that we have today. Thank you, Lauren, for walking us through the intake agent, and thank you everyone who joined us today. We'll be hosting live agent demos several times a month, so please join us for our next session to see AI in action. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.